In this video, I want to talk about ideas, misconceptions about reality and what reality is not. And I'm just going to say that a bit bluntly and generally. Let's go through them and explain them. So I'm just going to go through like a bunch of ideas, hypotheses, thought things, and just apply a bit of common sense and logic to them. So I think the first one I'm going to go with is the multiverse idea that there's multiple timelines, multiple realities, multiple universes. So what? Who cares? What's the value in that? And there's someone that say, well, if that's reality, that's interesting, we should try and figure that out. Sure, great. But my first point was, you don't even comprehend this reality, this universe, this world, this existence. So my thought would be, hold on, it sounds like you're trying to just jump ship and go, oh no, I don't want to face this reality. I would like to have a little sci-fi fantasy about possible other realities. Let's focus on those. Well, one, that doesn't make a logical sense if you haven't figured out this universe yet, if you haven't figured out the laws of this universe and this reality and how it works. How are you going to expect to have a very good understanding of a possible other ones? Oh, it's just interesting to know that they are there and a possibility. Great. What value does that have? There's infinite universes. Who cares? What does that mean? And then someone might postulate, oh, well, it goes against the idea of what we understand about reality and the Big Bang and how that all starts, this, that, and the other. And I'm going to put this point here, and I can reiterate it, but I'll put it here to begin with. A lot of these ideas and theories are escapism. They are escapism. I don't like this reality. I don't like the possibilities of that. I don't like the perfection and the simplicity of it. I don't like that it leads to the possibility of God. I don't like the idea of there being a God. I don't like the idea of cause and effect, life after death, any of this. So I wish to escape that to such a gross degree. Not only am I going to say, no, God doesn't exist, but it's so much more than that, that there are all these, this is how reality is. It's this distorted, delusional other possibility. That's how it is. It's an escapism, escape tactic. That's what all of them are fundamentally. And once you see that, if you see that in yourself, you go, oh, that is the case. That's a bit sad. I shouldn't do that, because it's like children's fantasy, but worse. But to the point, what does it matter? Because you could stipulate, well, if that's the story, and let's have a look at creation theory, right? You have a look at God and this, that, and the other. It doesn't hold up anymore because there are other reality, there are other universes. That doesn't prove that God didn't create them. That doesn't prove that even if there are other Earths that are very similar or slightly different, or other life forms, this, that, and the other, that doesn't mean that God isn't the creator of all of them. You're like, oh yeah, but they create themselves and, they intertwine. No. You're missing the point. Because at some point, let's just say you have the idea that one of these universes was created and then it expanded or multiplied or duplicated into another one. Well, where did that original one come from? You still haven't escaped the whole Big Bang creation God thing, which I've talked about in my other videos. You haven't escaped that. And then if you postulate, no, they were always there at all times, and the Big Bang, there was not a nothing. There was like a balloon where you have all the universe on this side, and then it eventually collapses and then goes into this way. Fine. How did it all come to be there to begin with? Oh, it always was there. Well, all you've done is replace God, who always was and who always is there, with the universe. Oh, it always is there, always was there. Okay. That doesn't disqualify all the other problems that I've discussed in my other videos. So really, all it is trying to, it's like the aliens thing. Or maybe there's aliens and aliens created life. Well, who created the aliens? All it is trying to add another layer, another dimension onto ours to try and make it seem like, oh, it's filling in the blanks. Now, all you're doing is literally duplicating what already is, painting it a different color and being like, ah, there we go. It's the same thing. It doesn't then run away from the same problems. It doesn't fill in those same problems, those same fundamentals. Because the other escapism factor that, and it's more of a timeline view of it, you know, every decision that you make, everything that happens, it's ridiculous, but we'll go with it. Every decision you make, why every decision? Why not every moment? And at what moments? How many times? At what point? It goes on and on. It's ridiculous. Does a new timeline get created? Because it's like, oh, every time I make a decision, oh, isn't that very self-centered of you? Well, let's go with that. Every time you make a decision, yeah, Schrodinger's cat, one of you says yes and one of you says no, and a new timeline is created. Oh boy. Even if that's the case, and now there are two genuine real yous in different universes, that still doesn't take away the culpability that you might have. Because again, it's this escapism thing. Oh, you know, it doesn't matter what decision I make because another version of me made the other decision. Yeah, that other version of you is probably going to go to heaven and you're not, is basically the consequence. Because if you are still you and you still have value, then you are still culpable and still going to feel the consequences of your actions. The other version of you in the other timeline who actually thought for 2 seconds and was like, no, I'm going to try to do the right thing. Yeah, they're going to gain the consequences of those actions, which are probably good. You're still going to be you. And the thing is, you don't know that they exist. Again, it's an escapism thing. It's oh, maybe they do and I'm good in that other universe. Who cares? You are you. Deal with it. Take responsibility. So the next one would be the simulation theory. We're in a simulation. This one is even worse. This is just redundant as all heck. I'll keep this one simple. I don't want to go on it. Even if we are in a simulation, there must be a reality. Like if we were reality and we were simulating people in a simulation, there is a higher reality where it's real world. And even if you say, oh no, they're probably in a simulation too, at some point, it's in the word simulate, you are simulating a reality that must exist. So again, it's like the other one with the multi-dimensional, multi-universe thing, multiverse thing. You're just trying to add layers on to the cake to be like, oh, look, I've figured it out by just piling this turd cake up real high, so my brain is like, oh, I don't have to think about reality for what it is because I made this imagination turd cake. No, because at some point you still reach real reality. So who made that? How did that come to be? It's just like assuming we're in, as it's known as, base reality. And in base reality, we're simulating simulation after simulation, da-da-da-da. If we're in base reality, it's still all like this, right? It's still the same. Who cares about the simulation stuff? Even if they're not humans that you're putting into a simulation, all that matters is there is a base reality. Does that not make sense to you? Even if you think you're in the simulation, the only consequence of that is that, well, either you're a real human being in a simulation, and that real human being you is in reality, and they still are alive and they're real. So you're in base reality, a part of you is in reality, or you're not, you're just a construct, you're code, you're matrix, right? You're not real human being. Well, even in the Matrix, they were real in the mind, so the Matrix isn't a good example. You're a program, you're not real. You're AI code, you're not a human being that's being projected into a virtual reality, right? Oh, there's that escapism thing again. Oh, I'm not real. This is not real. Therefore, I can do what I want because it has no consequences. And when I die, I'm just code that ends or just gets remade again. Oh, wouldn't that be horrifically convenient? And what does it matter at that point? Because like I've said in my previous video, either God exists or it doesn't exist. Either something happens after death or nothing happens after death. And it's either one of those things. If you are simulation you, and you're not a real, you're just a code thing that can think and do all these wonderful things, well, who gives a snot? That's not a real word. Well, who gives a rock's bottom? Because you either are that or you are not. If you are that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens. If you are a simulated program AI then it has no value. You have no value. You're not a real thing. But if you're not, and you're actually a human being that's plugged into this virtual reality, this simulation, then you are real, and that means maybe there are consequences to reality. And you just, like I said, go back to the same questions, the same ideas. Well, what happens when I die? Is God real? What is the point of reality? Again, it's just an escapism idea, and it's a dumb one, because it's just got one level. It's like being in a VR headset and being like, oh man, is this real? No. Am I real? Yeah. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, is it? Okay, well, do what you want. Another one would be reincarnation. Now, I don't want to, because this is a religious thing, and this is important to people, where the other two I think are just dumb ideas. Reincarnation is, one, mathematically improbable, two, sounds horrible, and three is another escapism cop-out. I'll go with the more fundamental one, more objective one, the mathematical improbability, right? You have at any point in time a numbered amount of living organisms, creatures, and you define what you want, because in reincarnation, do you include amoeba, single cell organisms? Do you include bacteria? Do you include viruses? Are viruses alive? You see where I'm going with this? You have a number of things. Is it trees? Is it grass? Where do you go? You have a number of living things at any point in time on this planet. That either means that you have always the same amount of numbered living things, which is possible. I think it's unlikely, because the world changes in very dramatic ways in times. Like, let's say you have, during World War II, all these things go off, and only death really came in World War II, let's say, because you're dropping bombs and stuff like that. You can say, oh, then all the more bugs grew, and humans became bugs. Maybe. But common sense says no, there's a fluctuation, a beautiful, perfect balance of fluctuation. Then you can say, well, it doesn't need to be a perfect number of living things. You might go into stasis, you might go into the queue. Well, the problem with that is what happens if you think naturalism is more of the case here. If an asteroid hits the planet and blows it up, or starts all over again, everyone's stuck in stasis, in purgatory, basically. That sounds terrible. The next thing would be, again, like these other things, is the escapism aspect of it, the cop-out aspect of it. Is it's just like, oh, if I don't get it right this time, I'll get another shot. Oh, doesn't that sound convenient? I'll get another shot until I get it right. My question that I'd put forward to you is, what if you don't? What if you only get one shot? What if this is it? Then thinking that you have another shot is a bad foot to start on. And maybe some people go, oh, no, every time you really try and do it that one time. Yeah, but if in the back of your mind, or believe, in the back of your mind, you might get another shot, or that's possible, then you're not going to try your hardest, are you? It's like in an exam. You're like, oh, this exam, maybe that you can get another one. You might think, oh, if I stuff this one up, I'll just ask my teacher, really, really, please, can I have another go? And then I might get another go, because other people get other goes, I heard. That does not sound like a good idea. That does not sound like a good practice at all, objectively. And then the last thing I would say, and this doesn't really matter too much. No, it's the second last thing I'll say. But coming back here again and again, I'm sorry, your imagination and comprehension of what eternal peace and happiness is lacking. But coming back here again and again would be hellish. And people say, well, yeah, that's the point. You don't want to come back here. You want to do your bit and then move on. Yeah, well, doesn't that sound like what Christianity is? Do your bit the first time and move on. And if you can't, well, too bad. You're not going to get another shot. Oh yeah, but I'd like another shot. Oh, there we go. There's the escapism aspect. But coming back here, oh, I come back as an ant and then a cockroach. Or maybe I'm a whale this time. I'm a girl. Oh, isn't that exciting? I'm a girl this time. It's just dumb. I'm sorry, it is dumb. Look, even if it's possible, let's just entertain the fact, yeah, it's possible. Or maybe that is how it works. It doesn't really change anything. It doesn't change anything. Because let's say Christianity, God says, oh yeah, you get another chance. You can go back there and be Billy Bob this time. I really want you to come back to heaven. I don't want you to stuff it up. I'm sure you'll do it this time. That doesn't change what reality is. But if you're wrong, not a good thing to go on. But again, mathematically, it doesn't make sense. 2, it really seems like it is a cop-out if it's not the case. And 3, it's a bad thing to have in the back of your mind. Like, oh, we'll get another shot. No. And like I've talked about in my previous videos, there's just a very common understanding is not the right word, belief that, you know, the scientific aspect, you know, nothing Big Bang, everything perfectly arranging itself, life coming from nowhere, evolution just managing to manage everything perfectly. So it all happens, and then you live, you die, die. Live, procreate, and die. Well, maybe you don't even procreate. You die. Everybody dies. You die. And then that's it. I've explained why that doesn't make any sense and why it's pointless. I've done that. I won't rehash that here, but that is another delusional, wrong perception of reality. So I'll put that here, even though I've talked about it enough in previous videos. It does fit in this video. I'm not going to go in depth into it. If this is the first one you're watching, you're like, you have no idea what you're talking about, go watch the other videos. I do. Anyway, that's the end of this one. If you've got any questions, you're welcome to ask. Any topic suggestions, you're welcome to put them. Yeah, love you. See ya.